2 years ago, I moved into a quiet suburban neighborhood. Neat lawns, friendly faces, identical houses painted in soft pastels. It was the kind of place where birds sang, kids rode bikes, and retirees strolled with their dogs in coordinated outfits. Everything seemed perfect at first, a postcard of domestic bliss. But then the letters started arriving. Little notes tucked into my mailbox, each one more absurd than the last. Your grass exceeds the 1.5-inch height limit. Your mailbox color deviates from approved shade 12C. Your trash can remain visible from the street beyond the 30-minute post-pickup allowance. That last one stuck with me. I'd gotten home late from work one night and left the trash can out overnight. The next morning, a warning notice was slapped onto my garage door like some petty citation. I brushed it off. After all, it's a trash can, not a crime scene. I'm not one for confrontation, so I figured it was just an overzealous homeowners association, HOA, board member with too much time on their hands. Then it happened. One Monday morning, I rolled my trash can to the curb as usual, joining the orderly row of bins like silent sentinels. When I got home that evening, the trash was gone. Great, but so was the can. I assumed the garbage truck had taken it by mistake, so I called the waste company. They checked their logs. Nothing unusual. The driver even mentioned seeing a third-party vehicle on the route that day. Suspicion crept in. I reviewed my doorbell camera footage, and there it was, 10:13 a.m., a white van with a tacky HOA logo pulled up. Two figures stepped out, one with a clipboard, the other in gloves. They glanced around like thieves, hoisted my trash can into the van, and sped off. No note, no warning, just gone. Fury took over. The next morning, I marched to the HOA office, a drab beige box that reeked of toner and unspoken grudges. The receptionist, Linda, a woman who seemed to live for regulations, greeted me with a smile so forced it could have cracked glass. I explained the theft. She tapped her keyboard for an eternity, then said my can was improperly labeled and non-compliant because it was too dark and lacked a reflective sticker. I asked if stealing it was their solution. She blinked. It was removed for community consistency, she said, as if delivering a eulogy. I demanded it back. She offered a replacement, for a fee, plus a fine for the violation. They'd taken my property and wanted me to pay for it. I let out a wild, unhinged laugh. This wasn't petty anymore, it was war. Back home, I showed my wife, Emily, the footage. She gasped. My kids asked if the trash can was coming back. I sat on the porch, staring at the empty curb, feeling oddly bereft. I started chatting with neighbors, casual talks over lawnmowers or mailboxes, and learned I wasn't alone. At least 3 others had lost trash cans to the HOA, each hit with fines and forced to buy replacements. One guy, Tom, had it happen twice. It dawned on me. This wasn't about rules. It was a racket, a bizarre trash can shakedown masked as neighborhood upkeep. The HOA was a petty mafia, and most people were too exhausted or scared to push back. Not me. This was about principle now, not just plastic. I couldn't sleep that night, replaying imagined showdowns with Linda or the HOA president, Mark, in my head. By morning, my plan solidified. I wouldn't sue or protest. That's what they'd expect. I'd give them something unforgettable, something poetic. They'd taken my trash, so I'd give them trash, all of it. I ordered a new can online, not from their approved vendor, but the gaudiest one I could find. Neon green, glitter-flecked, with my house number in glowing stickers. Trash day came, and I wheeled it out like a game show prize. Neighbors gawked. One kid laughed. I watched from my window as the HOA van rolled up. The glove guy hesitated, pointing at the can, then the clipboard. They left it alone. Victory, I thought, until a new fine arrived. Trash receptacle color not within approved palette. I laughed hysterically, scaring my dog out of the room. I went full investigator. I hid a motion-triggered camera in a birdhouse, pored over HOA bylaws, denser than a textbook, and joined the community Facebook group. Mostly lost pets and recipes, but occasional gripes slipped through. One woman was fined for a post-Easter wreath. Another got hit for a threatening lawn gnome. This wasn't just about trash, it was tyranny in polo shirts. I documented everything. Fines, visits, patterns. The HOA targeted newcomers, single parents, retirees, anyone who didn't bow instantly. And the replacement cans? sold by a company tied to Mark's brother-in-law. It wasn't big money, just small-time power trips over bins and paint chips. Next trash day, I filled the green can with ping-pong balls coated in glitter glue, confetti, expired flour, and a note. Smile, you're on camera. When the HOA crew opened it, glitter and balls exploded everywhere. The glove guy flailed. The clipboard guy stomped the rolling balls. They took the can anyway, but my camera caught it all. I posted the clip anonymously online. HOA collecting dues in style. It went viral locally. Neighbors laughed, shared, suggested marbles next time. The tide was turning. I started knocking on doors, showing footage, sharing evidence. People's eyes lit up with recognition, then anger, then amusement. A glittery rebellion brewed. The HOA sent a letter warning of fines for public disturbances involving trash. I framed it. I kept the pranks coming. Cans decked out with flair. Even a papier-mâché raccoon holding a mini bin named Justice. Neighbors joined in, filming HOA visits. The fear faded, the power shifted. Then I saw it. A construction crew's massive dumpster, defiantly ugly, immune to HOA rules as temporary equipment. Inspiration struck. I rented the biggest commercial dumpster available and had it dropped in my driveway at dawn, spray painting, HOA donations on the side. I invited neighbors to dump anything the HOA had fined them for. Old chairs, cracked pots, rejected paint cans. It became a block party. By day 3, it overflowed with junk, including a toilet sprouting fake flowers. The HOA sent furious letters about temporary structure violations and neighborhood disharmony. I laughed. People were bonding over this, not fighting. With my neighbor Jake, a retired trucker, we hauled the full dumpster to the HOA office parking lot under cover of night, blocking their door. A note read, "Since you love trash, enjoy the gift." Morning brought chaos. Board members gaped. Phones snapped photos. Kids took selfies. The HOA demanded I remove it. I asked for my original canned and fine refunds. Silence. They held an emergency meeting I wasn't invited to, but the dumpster spoke for me. Retaliation came hard. A $5,000 fine for unauthorized waste disposal and incitement. Contractors smashed the dumpster and dumped its contents elsewhere, framing someone else. They fined allies too, Jake for a lawn turtle, another for a porch light glitch. But the neighborhood didn't cower. Stories poured online. Fines for approved fences, threats over sandboxes. Another neighbor, Rachel, a retired CPA, dug into HOA finances. Thousands spent on non-existent upgrades, payments to Mark's relatives. At a PAC meeting, she exposed it all. Mark squirmed. The crowd roared. The board fled in 10 minutes. The scandal broke wide. A former secretary leaked emails and recordings. Mark laughing about bleeding the sheep. The news ran it. Trash Contras. How an HOA turned petty power into profit. The city investigated. Mark resigned. Linda vanished. An interim board formed, and they asked me to join. I hesitated but agreed, wanting to prevent future nonsense. Months later, I built a final tribute. A gold-painted trash can on a pedestal, labeled, "In loving memory of the HOA president's career and dedicated to the rebellion." I placed it outside their old office. It went viral again, a local symbol of defiance. No one removed it for weeks. Kids posed with it. An elderly couple left flowers. The investigation fined the old board, refunded victims, and a new, fair HOA emerged. The neighborhood bloomed. Flowers, lemonade stands, freedom. One evening, my son asked if I'd fight again if someone took my trash can. I smiled. "No, bud. We made our point." That night, I set out a plain bin, gave it a pat, and walked away. They'd taken my trash. I'd given them hell. And in the mess, we'd built a real community, one that wouldn't forget its golden stand.